Yes, I can share that. I can most certainly share that. I would make sure that is shared. Grand rising to all of you great, kind people. We were listening to you too. This is a song for someone. And what a great song that was. It sets the energy for what I want to do. There's another song too that I want to play, but I'm not going to do it. Let's go first with this. Oh, there we go. I didn't share it right. Let's go first again with this. There you go. All right. Second time's the charm.
My knees went from under me. I thought I was going to down the bridge.
If John Lewis, as a 19, 20-year-old, wasn't doing what he did, I would not be here.
We will march with the spirit of love and with the spirit of dignity that we have shown here today.
The whole time he was in the movement, it was frightening, knowing the danger, knowing what could happen.
You cannot replace a John Lewis.
He's the most courageous person I ever met.
Too many people struggled and died to make it possible for every American to exercise their right to vote.
He challenges the conscience of the Congress.
Bring common sense gun control legislation to the House floor.
40 years later, John Lewis continues to inspire us.
Are you with me? Let me hear you. 3 civil rights workers that were murdered for trying to help people get registered to vote are looking down on us.
This is a time for action. That's what I learned from John Lewis.
There are forces in America today want to take us back, but we're not going back. We're going forward.
Wanted to start off. That's two energies we didn't set. Good trouble. That's what we're talking about today. Good trouble. We are talking about today good trouble. I think that's the album. Yes, that album was free, but the only people on iTunes could get it. Yes, that's that YouTube album. Absolutely. Today, for the times I was shed again, I want to speak with you on the subject, good trouble. Oh, I cannot resist that upon this day, Marcia, it is Passion Week. And inside this Passion Week, we have glorified such a week. Today, Phil, the cross has diamonds on it, rubies, sapphires. We wear it freely. The first cross, well, this particular cross, had blood and skin on it. It wasn't as glamorous as we make it today. And I couldn't resist last night as I was thinking about what to talk about this morning, about the chronological order of Passion Week. I know it, it's in my degrees. And I want to list for you what happened upon this Thursday, this chronological order that happened. The first thing that happened, that's recorded, gospel gumbo, using all 4 or 3 in this case together. Peter and John made preparations for the Passover meal. Keep following. This isn't a religious lesson. There's a theme here. The second thing that they did, that's recorded, after the sunset, they ate the meal, washed each other's hands, fellowship, what we now call the Last Supper, and Judas departs. The third thing, Jesus begins talking. He institutes at this time the Lord's Supper, in which is still used today. It's most scholarly called the Eucharist. This is where we get Phil and I's favorite pericope, the Garden of Gethsemane. I have no idea. I know how Phil loves it. I just know he does. The Garden of Gethsemane, where we get the recorded trouble of Jesus, his agony. It is where his agony is recorded. Right after that agony, Jesus gets into some good trouble. by being betrayed by Jesus and arrested by the Sanhedrin. And lastly, Jesus gets into more good trouble as he is at the house of the high priest, and the Sanhedrin convene on his behalf. And Peter then denies Jesus 3 times, his friend. Good trouble. I remember sitting in the auditorium in 2012. There's a preacher sitting next to me, and we were both bad men on campus. We had good reputations, and we were both humbled by the story of a father telling about his 12-year-old son who is now deceased. Of course, you don't learn that to the very end. And the kid was doing missionary trips since 8 years old. He contracted something on a missionary trip, died shortly thereafter. And the little boy wrote in a journal. He wrote a journal. He told his dad, "Don't be afraid. Mom, don't be afraid. I know where I'm going, and I am willing to be uncomfortable for Jesus." And I remember my eyes filling with tears as I'm thinking about this boy has more God in him than I could ever dream of having in me. 12 years old, facing death from getting into good trouble on a mission trip, tells his parents to relax. I am willing to be uncomfortable as his lungs stop working. Amazing. Amazing how we can find ourselves on our ascension journey, and it is. And every step of this journey requires us to get into good trouble. We don't often like these steps. We prefer to just get into some good steak, some good vegetables, and some good situations. But some of these situations require us to get into some good trouble. And on this Thursday, I cannot resist telling you all that while Good Friday is tomorrow, is what you're going to call it, that first Good Friday wasn't so good. And the day before, Jesus was being accused, lied on, and set up. Now, I don't know about y'all. I can only speak for me. I don't like being lied on. No, I don't. Never fancied being publicly embarrassed, Phil. It's not really a little, I don't know. I got too much testosterone in my body, to like get publicly embarrassed, Too much ego in my ego. Too much pride in my mind. Here is Jesus being publicly embarrassed, the talk of the town. He is the viral comment, the viral thread happening. Did do a thing. Did do a thing. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, if you want to add some more good trouble to your story, you go back to they went and stole the donkey. Then they rode into the town being praised of the king. So that's a couple of good troubles that you could add to that story. I know you don't repeat your keynotes, but if you want to repeat it, you might want to add these steps to it. And then another good trouble is when he put the ear back on the Roman soldier that Peter cut off. So those are 3 little good troubles that you could add to that story if you tend to visit it in the future.
Well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's add them now.
And then if you go to YouTube and put "Selling in the Garden," you can see my 1 minute and 58 seconds of my interpretation of Jesus trying to talk God out of doing this thing. Wow! Just go to "Selling in the Garden." Bill Sorrentino.
Awesome. Well, we're going to do that right now and play it. And here it is right here. Selling in the Garden. All right, let's play it in my ear. A little ad, and I will share it right now.
Hey, Dad, how you doing? Do you have a minute? You know, this miracle thing, we got blind people seeing, we got lame people walking. Lazarus' family, they are thrilled. Let me ask you a question. Let's say you let me hang out here, I don't know, a couple more years. You know, I'm 33, 35. By the way, a year is a day in your eyes, so I'm really asking you for a couple days. And I'll tell you what we do. Let's say we heal, I don't know, 10 people every morning, 10 people every afternoon, 20 people a day, 6 days a week. You do the math. Think how many people will be spreading your love, your light, and your truth. Can you just give me a couple more years?
The time is now.
So he leaves, and he finds him sleeping. So he comes back. Hey, Dad, how about this? The fall. Think about it. Everything's dying in the fall anyway. If you just give me the summer, I think I can work with the boys. You know, they're not getting this. They think this is going to be a victory of flesh, a stabbing and killing. You and I know this is about the spirit. So if you give me the summer, I think I can work on them.
It must be in the spring because it represents a new beginning.
So he leaves and he finds him sleeping. So he comes back for one more shot. Hey, Pops, I got it. Monday. You know, nobody likes Monday. If you just give me the weekend.
I'm going to call it Good Friday.
Oh, Dad, you've thought of everything. Thy will be done.
Come on, y'all clap for that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
wow. Great job. Great awesome. Job.
Yeah. That was awesome. That was awesome. Man, good. We need to play that every video for no reason. Just work it in there. Work it in there.
You know, the point is, isn't that what we do with God?
Yep.
We go to God with all of our ideas, and God's going, Antonio, let's go with my plan.
I sure wish you would go with my plan every now and then. All right. So I've got 6 movements for you. I gave me each of them to you. Each of them was given to you with the order of what happened upon this day. But I do want to go backwards because Phil brought up this donkey. And I like that. And I'm glad he did because I would have left it out. Imagine, if you will, knowing where the least of these animals are. You're saying, Susie, you're so important. I know you're unattended on the side of a road nobody cares about, tied up with an owner that left you alone. But I know exactly where you are. That's amazing. When you think about how much you are loved, that every hair on your head.
You know, I don't let the ass move it. I can't. It's something about that ass tied up on that fence.
It is.
And when the master say it's gonna be needed, that's an authority. You know what I mean? I heard that the other day. That was one of them authoritative prayers. How we have all different types of prayers. The authority said, no, you can go get that. Because whoever says something, you let them know I need it. Not you, but me. Yeah. And they got to come. My God, I'm sorry. Every time you talk,
I expect. Look, I had to coach.
This is the beauty. This is the best of the weeks of ever. And I tell people all the time, I'm trying to hold my composure because you is right, bro. And as much as the story don't make sense, it's okay. Because that's how you get your belief. That's how you can walk in it. The more crazier it is that you have to adapt and grab it, that says that's how much you love God. Come on, man.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Going back to the fence.
So the Hebrew day was 6 p.m. was midnight. So your midnight now is 6 p.m. That makes sense. I mean, a bunch of farmers nobody's trying to be 12 noon in the farm. It's too hot. Nobody's trying to do stuff like that. It's too hot to be doing that and drawing water at 8 a.m. By that time, the ground had baked enough for the water to be 100 degrees. Nobody has time for that, right? No, nobody has time for that for sure.
I like those times.
yeah, definitely. But we got refrigerators, but those are beautiful times because, the birds are talking, the wind is talking, everything's talking, and it's a good time. The idea here of getting into good trouble is I want to reverse your thinking. I want to put you all in the position of Jesus today. This time, I do want you to be the good guy in the text.
I told Monica, get your daddy on this call.
Okay, yeah. Tell her we talk about good trouble. Yes, talk about Jesus. I want you this time. I do want you to be Jesus in this case. I'm famous, Arshia, for saying stop always trying to be the good person in the story. This. There are no King Davids. It's a bunch of King Sauls. Yeah. King David let King Saul make it a few times. No, we're a bunch of people throwing spears at other people's anointing.
My God.
That's what we are. Phil spoke better than me, right? He just his little acting thing he just did. You do it. We throw spears at other people's gifts because we don't want them. But this time, please be Jesus. And this time, I want you to be Jesus, and I want you to separate like it should. If you're going to subscribe to Christianity, you're not allowed to mix the divinity of Jesus and the humanity of Jesus. You're not allowed to mix. That is sacrilegious. It's heretical, outside of orthodox, regular, standard church teaching. You can't mix. What you cannot do, respectfully, you can't say Jesus tapped into his divinity to handle the cross. You see it? Nor can you say Jesus tapped into his divinity as not to sin. If you ask Antonio, the real miracle of Jesus is as a sinful man, he sinned not. That's the real miracle of Jesus. That's the real miracle. Right? The real miracle is all human did it quite well. This time I want you to, Arshia, I want you to isolate that. You are Jesus. You're all knowing, yet you feel all things. And tonight's going to be a bad night. Yet you move forward anyway. Do you mind if I frame your thinking? Because there's some things we do when we read this, or when it's read to us, or when we're talking about it. And we give a lot of credit to the divinity of Jesus. And we just take away all the struggle of the man and all the credit of the man. Phil just did it. Hey, Dad. Hey. All right, got another argument there. You got me on that one? I just thought about this, right? That's Phil highlighting the humanity properly of Jesus, because that's what it should be. The real miracle is Jesus was human. This is if you're Christian, but you don't have to be Christian or anything. And this is a Christian lesson to catch this here, because we're talking about on your journey, you're going to know some stuff is coming your way. And your job is to get into some good trouble. So I want to give you 6 examples and steps of this good trouble. And I want to use the last, or the 6 things that are recorded that happen on the day on what you call Thursday. Okay? That's what I want to do. It's Nisan, but we'll leave the Hebrew calendar alone. We'll just stick with Thursday. I pasted it. Grace, read it out loud for me.
Peter and John sent to make preparation for Passover meal.
Arshia, you're Jesus. People are going to make preparations to bless you, preparations to be in your life, do their mundane things, their ceremonial things, and yet in their ignorance, while they're trying to bless you, they're actually setting up your fall. Can you handle it? Uh-oh. Can you handle it?
I told him I can handle anything.
Okay. Can you handle it when you know crucifixion is coming? And let it come anyway. Deanna says no. Everybody but Arshia says no. All right. You just can you handle it? Some people can, some people cannot. I will tell you this. In gratitude, Bible wouldn't even be no Bible if I was Abraham. Feel it go like this here. Genesis chapter 1, chapter 12, verse 2. 1 and 2. But as soon as God got quiet on me for that long, I'd have messed that whole thing up. You hear me? I'd have messed that whole thing up. It wouldn't even be no chapter 13. And I want to help people so much. I'd have took more than just a wife. I took the cousins. I took leave your kindred. All right, we leaving. You talking about the land, huh? You ain't talking about them. I need leave. You know what I'm saying? And no, but in fairness, the first movement I want, and when getting into good trouble, here's the main overarching theme here. Can you handle crucifixion? That's what we're talking about. That's fair. The stage is, the plot is on this day, Jesus knows exactly what's coming and lets people go through all the circumstances regardless. You understand what I'm saying? Can you? Because this is what I see the most out of people. You know what's going to happen. You know how it's supposed to end. You know how the show is going to go. And you go, but wait. Come on, y'all. Get it together. Yeah, Bridezilla. Oh, my God. Am I resonating now? Come on. Do this. You're not moving fast enough, Peter. Come on. Y'all need to. Yeah, we start dropping hints, Phil. You know you need to appreciate me while I'm here, huh? You know, you need to slow down. All right, everybody just slow down and just relax. Let's just appreciate, we start dropping the hits like I know what's going to happen before, but can you genuinely know what comes before you and still let your people or the people around you do the best they can with what they have, even though you know one of the people setting it up for you going to betray you? Like that's Peter, and ain't nothing about this night going down good. Can you still let people enjoy that moment? Now that's a different story. And Arshia, you can't tell me you got this one because I get text messages from you every day. You be like, you take it too long. This did, right? So you can't say you got this one. You know what I'm saying? Can you just allow people to be in their place doing the best they can with what you have? And everybody says yes there. All of you know you can. Now watch this here. I'm gonna put a comma on there. Allowing people to do the best they can with what they have. Yeah, you can do that. Everybody can do it. Comma, when you know this your last day with them. That changes everything, don't it? Because we like to help folk. I told you real quick, I'll be dropping hints. All right, Grace. You grown. I ain't gonna be here always. Right? When you know what they don't know, can you allow them to still be blessed with what they have, with what they can? Because the beautiful part of this story, at least right here, is Jesus got into good trouble by not manipulating this situation. Let's talk. Open dialogue. I want to talk about it. Go ahead, Phil.
And really, the last day he was at the ascension.
Yep.
And I've always been amazed on how little is written about the ascension.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even mentioned. I don't even remember in one of the gospels, and it's like 2 sentences in the other gospels.
Yeah.
And to me, you think they'd put more into that, but
I'm equally confused with you.
but that was the last time he was going to be with him in the physical sense. That's for sure.
That's for sure. That is for sure. That is for sure. Deanna, come on, we finna talk. I know Adrian got something to say. In case you forget what we're talking about, I know Antonio can. I know Renee. I know Arshia can. Oh yeah, I let people be who they are. But when you know you got 2 hours left, do you hear me? Like when you know this the last meal, can you still let God's will be done without manipulating it? That's tough. That's tough. Say what you will, but that's tough because you're going to say, well, yeah, I can, because you're thinking about you, but are you going to let me mess up or go about my business? We know you got you, but can you watch me not know what you know without correcting that? Like, think about it. If this was my last time, if you knew your mama was about to die right after this meal, would you even cook? I wouldn't. Mama, let's make as many. We got 8 hours left. Let me order food for somebody else. Bring the food. Let's eat. I'm trying to make 80 years worth of memories in 8 hours. You hear me? I'm not telling you I'm right. I'm just telling you I believe in manipulation more than I believe in manifestation under certain circumstances. See, I know how to be honest. I know how to be honest. You understand what I'm saying? I know how to be honest. Okay, go ahead, Deanna.
No, you actually said it.
You say it too.
It would literally boil down to who you are as a person.
I'm trying to have this conversation.
Like if you can genuinely just love somebody when you know that's it and allow them to be themselves, or because you know it's the last, are you going to manipulate it and control it to make sure it's perfect for you?
Let's sit right there. Go ahead, Susan. That's what I'm trying to get at. Go ahead, Susan.
If you've been in the room with someone that is getting ready to pass within hours, there is an energy in that room.
That's it.
There's something going on in that room that allows you to just know it's coming, and it allows everyone in the room to be at peace and just enjoy the present moment. Words don't even need to be said at that time,
right?
Because it's so sacred. You feel that sacredness. It's like going to the cemetery and you just stand there. You know, it's almost that same type of thing.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That I've experienced.
Yeah. No, I think that's universal. Yeah. Yeah, that's I would even venture to guess the same way when someone take their first breath. It's the same reverence when someone take their last breath.
Well,
so, yeah.
The angels are there. The angels are all around, and the Holy Spirit, and the person that is getting ready to pass, most of the time, you know, it's peaceful unless it's some sort of emergency type thing. But that's the beauty of it all.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching.
Taken away right now from people in Ukraine. You know, those moments are being taken away.
Absolutely. 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 I have this habit that I kind of got a Deanna and Monique, I don't know who that is, and a few other people on now. I go to YouTube and I Google. Look at that! I just did it again by accident. I go to YouTube and I search. That's how y'all need to do y'all business. So where the search becomes the word Google. I go to YouTube and I search for, I don't know what it is. I go to YouTube and I search for Family Feud moments. Like best Family Feud. It'd be an hour-long clip. Steve Harvey just acting crazy. All sorts of stuff. And one of the questions as I was watching yesterday, I was drinking water and I was watching yesterday. It said, we asked 100 people, for $1 million, I would never do this. Even if you pay me $1 million, I would never do this. And 6 people up there said lie. I'm thinking to myself, that's 6 lying mothers.
Somebody lying.
You lied on this thing. 6 of y'all felt the cameras on y'all, whatever, however they actually poll these questions, and they must have been in a good mood. So let me tell you, for $1 million, you understand? You
but
can
wait,
make any
have you ever been called by a survey?
Nah,
Listen, the same way that they do the fast, they make the people do the countdown fast. They ask you the questions fast like that too. So
okay.
I mean, like to the point where you thinking and you be like, why would I even say that? Like that kind of stuff. and then you become a part of the 100. They call me. I do.
Okay,
survey.
that makes sense. But I know I was thinking, I say 6. I said, look at these 6 liars. And again, I'm not saying I naturally believe all people are great, all people are perfect, natural, perfect. And I also believe that, so I have these, it's one belief, but it's like 5 different vantage points of this belief. You understand? I'm saying we're all one. Mm-hmm. That's the belief. But this belief has angles. It's the same one belief though. It just has angles. Therefore, I believe all people are perfect. I also believe no one is smarter than anybody. And I also believe that since we're all one, everything is perfect, no one's smarter than anybody, then it just makes common sense to me that everyone serves the one infinite creator, no matter what you do. And so these little things kind of grow and sprout from this oneness of the city, but it's the same one thing. Those aren't different beliefs. It's just looking at it from a different side of the coin. It's got five flips of the coin or whatever. The reason I'm saying that, because I have a habit of looking at Jesus or sacred text and looking at the character of things. It's very natural for me. It is very natural for me to get out the headspace of I'm trying to learn this, and I put myself in a story and say, I wonder if I would have did this. And I'm always looking at the character, every character. I'm always saying, I wonder if I would have did this. And 100% of the time, well, no, but 99% of the time, the answer is, yep, I would have did just that. The only time I say, no, I wouldn't have did that is when it's something so benevolent. Every time it's something evil, 100%, I know it's me. I sure would. I sure would. Every time it's mediocre, whatever. But when it's something like knowing that y'all set this table in 3 hours, I won't talk to y'all ever again. Now, of course, the resurrection, but I'm trying to put us in this mindset of this is it. This is it. And I know when I know this is it, I know me. I start doing things like, well, and Deanna hit the nail on the head perfectly. Let me make sure this is perfect for me. Couldn't have said it no better. You couldn't have said it no better. Let me make sure this is perfect for me. I'm not telling you that's how you feel. It's just that's how you feel. Okay. I just said I got 6 points for you. Good trouble is not thinking about how it's perfect for you. Right. See what I'm saying? That ain't good trouble. Antonio wouldn't be getting into good trouble. That story would read differently if it was about Antonio. You understand what I'm saying? That story would read differently. Phil Dindiano.
I always like to ask the question, would the world be a better place if you could count on people behaving in their own best interest?
Wow. Hold on. Do you remember? Write your question down so you don't. All right, don't forget your quote. We got to tackle this. That is too good to just let that pass. Let's have an open discussion about this. Grace, no, that's too good. Grace, do me a favor, Phil, repeat it so everybody catch the same energy. And as soon as he finished, please, you go first. And Arshia, if you can talk, you second.
Would the world be a better place if you could count on people behaving in their own best interest?
That's good.
If I could count on people in their own best interest, behaving in their own best interest. No, because if I counted on you to behave in your own best interest, you're behaving in your own best interest. Like, oh, okay, yeah, getting this right here, that's good for me. It may jack you up, but it's good for me. So I would behave in a way to where it's good for me. So no, the world would not be.
What if my own best interest is to serve?
Now, in that sense, yes.
See. Hold on. That's why I want to have a conversation. Let me get Arshia, you come right now, and I'm gonna get her because she at work, and then you come right back and respond, and then you next.
I believe it depends on the situation. If you were single, and that's you depending on you, that's different. But if you were in a partnership, that's totally different. I believe it's totally different.
That's fair.
Because depending on somebody for my best interest.
See, look at you.
I don't know. That's
see. I have an answer, but I ain't giving it to you. I want the dialogue. I'll facilitate the conversation. Go, you respond back to that, Grace, and then I'm gonna get lost as he's driving.
Okay.
I don't want to use. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm making sure, Mr. Field. Am I counting on you to behave for my best interest or your best interest?
See, I'm gonna let it repeat.
Okay.
Because it's more than. Go ahead, Phil.
Would the world be a better place if you could count on people behaving in their own best interest?
That's the question. That's the question.
Yeah, okay.
And that's good.
Okay.
So you get to respond to our share, plus you get to finish what you're gonna say.
Okay.
I'm more than just a pretty face.
So Arshia was saying, if you're single, okay, but if you're in a partnership, because even if you're in a partnership, you're both behaving in your best interest, not towards them. You're thinking about yourself. Mr. Field said, what if my best interest is serving? Yes. Oh, yeah, the world.
But hold on. Let me facilitate, because you basically said the same thing twice. No, but under certain circumstances, which is the same thing Arshia said no, but under certain circumstances. All right, let me get Susan real quick, because she on fire. Law don't lose reception.
May I answer? I was going to say, I wanted to, please.
No, I everybody go talk. I got you. Let me get Susan. I'm going to get Law so he don't lose reception. That's all. Go ahead, Susan.
Has everybody listened to the beginning of this call? Did anyone the beginning of the call? If you are of love, then you are going to be in your best interest, and Phil's going to be in his best interest. So everyone's going to be at a higher level, and so the collective interest of everyone will be one.
That's a fair answer. That's a fair answer. And of course, both Arshia and Grace are going to be like, but what if they not at a high? Because that's what they just said. That's what they just said. Come on, Law.
The not is not of our concern. That has nothing to do with us. If we're all in alignment, then we will all act accordingly, right? I think a lot of times people focus on everyone else but their own damn selves. If you just focus on your own self, that love, it just radiates out and then becomes a better place.
It's gonna be hard to disagree with that.
Well, the follow-up is, how much self-destructive behavior do we observe and or participate in?
So we're gonna type that down in the chat, Grace. We're gonna tackle that one next. This is too much for. I knew as soon as he asked that question, I said, "Ooh, that's some gold that came out this class." I knew
Well,
better.
A lot, because
Yeah.
everyone has their own inner saboteurs, and that's what tends to come out of people, as opposed to the love aspect of it, and just focus on what it is that you want to leave behind in this world and what you're trying to obtain for yourself. They just focus on that inner saboteur.
Fair enough. We're gonna talk about all of it. Fair enough. Susan, then Adrian. Yeah, fair
well,
enough.
if it doesn't happen in this plane, it'll happen, in the next world.
That's
because
called karma.
But we could create heaven on earth if, and if we just do that within our circle, and that keeps expanding.
That's right. That's right. No, that's fair. We have enough money right now to end world hunger. Forget money. We have enough food right now to end world hunger. Forget the money just for a second. Because with the money, we can buy more food. We have enough. America wastes enough food to end world hunger. In the waste, not the having, the waste. You just go around my kids, it's a bunch of, it's 7 wasted sodas. 2 swallows, and they're just sitting there right now. You know how kids do, for sure. Adrian, then Deanna.
My answer would be yes. It's almost kind of like what Susan was saying, because what would happen is that would then be the onus of every single person. And because of the fact that no one really wants to admit that they want to die, but when they have to actually look at what they're living for and they won't have anyone else to blame but themselves, it makes you show up better because it's only about you. And then we wouldn't have to worry about the people doing backsliding stuff and all that other stuff, because nobody would want that as who they are.
Fair enough. I have plenty to say, but I'm not saying anything just yet. Y'all are teaching me something though, and I'm glad about it. I'm glad about it. Deanna, I definitely enjoy everything I said. Of course, nobody can be wrong in this answer, right? Go ahead, Deanna.
For me, the answer to Phil's question falls back on what you said this morning. If we release everybody of the responsibility of our expectations, then them acting in their own self-interest won't bother us anyway, because then that falls back to what Law was saying. Because if we're releasing them of the responsibility that we put on them, of the expectations on how we want them to treat us, and only focus on us and who we are, and focus on our own personal growth, then what they do wouldn't bother us. And then we move into what Susan said earlier, because we'll be in a constant state of love because we learn how to love ourselves. And then when we pour that love back out to them, how they treat us, how they respond to us, act towards us won't even matter, because all they see from us is love. And eventually all that energy they're going to want to match that energy, and they're going to want to come up to that love level with you.
For sure, no doubt. It still comes back to Arshia and Grace saying, but everybody ain't like that, right? So it still comes back to that. And listen, nobody's wrong. Nobody's wrong. If Susan hit the nail on the head, if we raise the collective conscience as a world, ain't too much problems happening, right? Law is in that same energy, same thing. But we still can't escape from that, but under certain circumstances, all right? We still got something going on with that I find very interesting. Who else? Come on. Nobody's wrong. You can't be wrong. Let me tell you, before you go, let me tell you why I like this question. I like that Phil asked the question. As soon as I heard it, I said, ooh, hold on, script, wait a minute, pause script. We need to talk about this right now, because this question, and I hope he gets to hear me, this question saves no room for you to be your practice self. You can't do it. Not in this question. Most people give you very practiced answers. And most people have practiced religion. What I mean by that is, that's not the real you. It's not who you are. You don't believe in no sex before marriage. You'll preach it, but you don't believe it.
Watch it.
You know sex before marriage every chance you get. so you preach it, but you don't believe it. We have a practice, and this question kills all that practice behavior y'all got. Because you cannot approach this, you can't answer this question in a practice self. That's why I was very intrigued by it. Grace, you want to say something else? Was it you? Anybody else want to say something? Everybody's like, man, I don't say that. Phil actually needs setup questions.
What's your
answer? In the what is it? The chat. It's how much self-destructive behavior do we observe and or participate in?
Observe and or we'll answer that one next.
Because the observes, and that's another part. That's getting into the judgment side of it.
That's that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who are we to judge whether that behavior is self-beneficial or not?
Right.
Well, you may say, well, drug addicts, is their behavior self-destructive?
And then are you observing them in a judgmental manner? That's what he said. Yeah,
how much self-destructive behavior do you observe and or participate in?
That one there. We're going to tackle that one next. I share once my answer. Before I give you my answer, there's no doubt about it. I don't know if Phil planned this, but I'm sure he's asked this many times before. And look, that seminar got loud real quick. Wherever he asked that, there's no doubt about it. Every last one of y'all, whether you tried to or not, you illuminated to us your worldview. The answer in your question flowed out your worldview. It really did. It really did. What you saw, it was your worldview. Of course, my answer can only be yes. The answer is the world would be a better place if every single person acted in their own best interest. The world would be a better place. Would. Now, this isn't right. Everybody is right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's right. Here's what I'm telling you. Here's what's hidden behind my statement. I don't think y'all act in your own best interest for the most part. I think other people are thinking for you. I think your fear of consequences is thinking for you. You're not thinking for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Your upbringing, your culture, you got so much dirt on you that all your thoughts are through all that stuff. But if you would think through your own best interest, I think the world would be a better place. That doesn't make me right. It just tells you my worldview, right? Like that's the deal. The only way you can answer this question is you have to blurt out your worldview. And look, Arshia went straight to, well, if you single, all right, that's her worldview. Her worldview is forget all them other relationships, just the ones closest to me. And you're right. You're 100% correct. Like nobody's wrong. You can't be wrong because how can your worldview be wrong? Phil, Neil, Donald Wanger both tell you every chance they get that nobody does anything wrong outside their worldview. Like nobody does anything that's not in their worldview. Whatever's in your worldview, that is what you're doing. You can't be wrong. It's a fantastic question. And the reason I like it is because you can't be practiced and answer that question. We have so much, we got practice behaviors that we don't know we have. All those suggestions with, I was gonna say Phil, with Neil, still can't say his name. Thinking Girl Rich Guy, Napoleon Hill. What Napoleon Hill said, that's auto suggestions. Some of those things we don't even know are there. They automatically come up. And then we have practice behaviors to keep us safe in a society. Because if people knew what we really thought and who we really were, then the tribe would attack us or ostracize us, right? We have a lot of practice behaviors. I listened to Vaccine last night, and he was so happy when he was looking at a minister or a pastor drink wine. And I was just blown away by that, of how refreshing was the word he used. He said it was so refreshing. And that makes sense because we typically take on the role of our titles than our own best interests, the role of our light. Right? My title says I am the boss, so I can't lose any argument or something, right? You know, I'm the man in a relationship, so what I say goes. Or I'm the woman, and if I'm not happy, the house can't be happy. These are our titles. Not necessarily us. I love it. I love it. Now, this second question, in my opinion, is way harder to answer than the first question. It's you can't, nobody can keep on clothes answer the second question. Everybody's naked after you answer this question. How much self-destructive behavior do we observe and or participate in? That is a question that strips you naked. that question is tough. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. And let's go with me first then. Let's go with me first. Until I master the law of allowing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everything was number two. I observed all that was destructive and my self-destructive. And I went out my way to make your situation somehow about me. I give you examples. I see it on TV all the time. If people say, don't legalize gay marriage, I don't want, right there, as soon as you go with, I don't want, you just made someone else's union about you. I don't want my kids to see two men kissing in the streets. like, first off, that's one hell of a leap you just made. Okay. Like you just went from practical thinking to this situation that you're probably never going to see ever. Mm-hmm. As far as being self-destructive, and now here's my concise answer. As far as being self-destructive, and as far as seeing what I observe in and how much I participate in the self-destruction of others, judge others, and think others, and all that stuff is 100% to both of those. I 100% view and observe and participate in. And what's scary about that is that's how I see God and serve God. That's the scary part. That's the scary part. If I am to believe everyone serves the one true creator, right? Mm-hmm. Then I am also saying that my view of God is pretty destructive. And don't think that's not possible, because everybody out here screaming God's narrative. And some people are killing people for it. Right? You know what I'm saying? So just I started off. Arshia, you go ahead.
That's a good question. I believe when it comes to self-destruction and destruction of others, it depends on my tolerance level and how long I want it to go on. And because I allow it to go on, I'm not allowed to get upset because I allow the other person to do that. And also, it's one thing someone said, now, if how much you willing to let somebody borrow money? If you let somebody borrow some money, are you, if they don't give it back to you, are you okay with that? And the same thing as how I view relationships. I can't give someone something and expect the same thing back, because I used to have that problem a long time ago. Man, I did this for that person and this, or I go beyond and above, and that person don't do that. But the thing is, I had to take responsibility of that, because it's like I can't give you some money or give you this emotional connection on this, and when you don't give it back to me, I can't get mad. I just have to say, hey, this is how this person brought up, or if they want to learn how to do this, I'm open.
Fair enough.
I'm open. I'm always going to be open, but it depends on the person and how much you're willing to allow it to go on.
Okay. So thank you for your transparency. That's perfect. Let me clear. Y'all clap. Before I get to sugar, I want to make some observations that I just made while she was talking, and I didn't even realize was there. I noticed, you can't change because I've already exposed your worldview. All right, you can't change. You can't change. I noticed though, Phil, Susan, and myself, there were no conditions implied whatsoever. Like, hold on. This. It was like, oh, I'm evil, or raise collective consciousness, or like it was no. But if the other person doesn't, and with everybody else, it had a condition implied to it. I noticed this when you were talking. This isn't wrong. Don't get it twisted. Because if the earth is the Lord's and the fullness of, but so is condition, and so is conditional love. You understand what I'm saying? It's just it's a distortion, but it is what it is. It can't exist if it wasn't supposed to be here. Is that fair? But what I do want to point out that as Arshia was just talking, how much of these, I want to muddy Phil's question up even more, right? I want to put some more knobs on it. How much of our conditions that we place on things destructive or self-destructive, and we don't call it that. So how much of that is self-destructive, right? You got to say all of it, because when we put conditions on things, that is self-destructive. Because if a condition can change my condition, then I don't have that condition. Right? I'm not creating, I'm reacting. Ooh, we filled in sugar. Ooh, we.
So what happens when you run this through Romans 8:28? All things work together for good for those who love God according to his purpose.
That's right. That's right. When you run it all through, it's exactly it's perfection. But we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to it. Sugar. This is good. This is real good. This came from the one thing. Go ahead, Sugar.
Well, I didn't get all of the earlier conversation, the question of the earlier conversation, but the answer for the second conversation, I did get that question on self-destruction. I was self-destructed for 31 years.
Look at you.
Because that's the way I felt that I was, from the molestation, from the time I was 4 all the way through. I never felt like I was a person. I went through all the mechanics of being a person, but I was always an object. So being an object, it was hard to really love me.
That's tough.
But it was very easy to love the molester, the perpetrator, the abuser.
That's the role of the object. That's your job. That's what you were supposed to do.
But that wasn't anything that I was, so the self-destruction, it wasn't until the 5th suicide attempt, and that I failed at also, that I came to the realization, and yes, I was born again. Yes, I knew Christ. Yes, I spoke in tongues. Yes, I was at Avenue L Baptist Church in Galveston.
Very traditional Baptist is what she's saying, y'all.
Yeah, yes. But it was still what was inside of me, or the lack of what was inside of me. Yes, I went to 5 different treatment centers. Yes, I learned all the textbook things, but it wasn't until that moment, that day of the last suicide attempt, and I was at Our Daily Bread. That
you talking about the one in Galveston?
The one in Galveston.
Okay.
One in Galveston.
Okay,
that was the day that I came to the realization.
Temporary shelter. Yeah. Okay, keep going. I'm just. They don't know some of these terms. Yeah.
And so it was that day that when Sister Judy said, and I didn't know she even knew my real first name, but when she said, Sheila, if you go out today, you're going to die. Well, duh, that's what I've been trying all these years to do.
I've been trying to die.
But that was the last. That was the beginning, and that was also the end. And that was 25 years ago.
Yeah, no, yes, no, hell yeah. Yes. Well, see, and that's what I was getting ready to say. So this is, I'm going to say this, but this isn't me trying to be like above or ascended. It's just my worldview. It's through your suicides have you achieved your perfection. Without it,
watch it.
I couldn't clap for you. I don't know how good God has been if you didn't take your life. See, well, my worldview is everything is perfect.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That's why when I answered the question, that's why I was like, before I got to the point where everything is perfect, everything was destructive, which was perfection. I was looking for it. Now I need y'all to receive this, but everything, because this is why I don't mind being transparent, because it ain't enough of it out here. Phil, I went looking for trouble. Who out here is gonna piss me off today? I'm looking for them. I went looking for these people. I didn't want to be happy. No, I didn't want to be happy. I wanted to be mad. And I wanted to get into relationships where those people would let me down. I needed you to let me down. If you didn't let me down, I didn't know how to respond. I don't know how to respond to somebody treating me well.
Right.
My mom ain't treat me well. My daddy ain't no well here. Come down here so we can argue. I know how to handle that. You know, like Susie, you're too high. Get down here. You know what I'm saying? I know how to handle you when you're mad. I don't know how to handle you when you would feel in them classes. I don't know how to handle that. You know what I'm saying? So I always have to pull you down to where I feel I know how to anticipate what you're going to do next. And a lot of people, you're in a relationship like that right now. You know what I'm saying? And not just with people. We continuously pull things down to our understanding because we want to be in the known. We want to be in a place where we can anticipate what comes next. Because the only way to ascend is not to know what comes next. And nobody likes that place. Nobody likes the place to where you got to run out there and you just have to, it's not even believe, sugar. It's whatever comes, Phil just quoted it. And we know that all things that come together are for my good. That is a tough place to be. Oh, it's a good thing to quote. It's a good thing to quote. But to live whatever just happened to me is serving me? Oh. And some of y'all right now, so here's the deal. So if I answer Phil's question in who I am now, everything's perfect. I ain't got no problems, except for in one area I can see right now. I'll find another area, another blind spot later on. This is what's been happening to me lately, and I've joked with Tempest about it. Right now, I get full on destructive, Phil, and in a self-destructive way. Is if the people I deemed to protect have to serve me now. For some reason, that triggers the hell out of me. Like, no. That's okay. It's okay. That's okay. Don't do that. Don't give it. Don't do this. Don't pay that. Don't do this. No. Because in my brain, this is present. You understand? This is present. In my brain, well, at least up until 3 days ago when I admitted this out loud to Tempest and Deanna, in my brain up to 3 days ago, I love you so much, I don't want to take from you. And my brain went all the way back to lack thinking, Phil, in this one particular scenario. You understand what I'm saying? Or she say you seen it. I'm sure if you look at it, it ain't hard to. If you look at people, you see who they are. It ain't hard. I'm sure you see it. People tell you who they are every day. Every day they just screaming who they are. People just don't pay attention. You don't pay attention. It's a good question. Deanna, what you think? This is a good question. No, this is everybody fit to get in on this.
Both. Like every okay. Question. Oh.
If you're saying both, your worldview is both. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Just accept and account for your worldview is both. You know what I'm saying? If I ask Arshia, her answer will have something to do with a relationship. Because the way her light is brightest is in relationships. This is not wrong. She is incarnated to be in a relationship to where 1, 2, 3, however that works out, you know what I'm saying, for her level of intimacy, cousins, siblings, whatever, that's how her light shines. Makes sense. She's a heart bleeding empath, of course. Empaths ain't trying to meet everybody. They're just trying to over-pour into a few people. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So whatever your answer, I just want to make you be comfortable with your answer. whatever your answer is, these two questions force your worldview to come out. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well just be comfortable with that. Go ahead.
It's both until you get to the level of ascension where you, Phil and Susan are. Because for
are you there?
No.
Okay, let me see.
You participate in self-destructive behavior and observe it every day because you observe it in yourself and you are also participating in it.
Fair enough.
For me, it was, and I actually said something this morning to you.
You did. I remember.
If I have a vision of how a person is supposed to be in my head, because that's what I know how to handle, and it could be my son, it could be my friends, it could be you, it could be anybody. If I have a certain vision in my head of who you are supposed to be,
oh yeah, that's it right there. You got Adrian.
If I have of who you are supposed to be, I can handle that. And 10 times out of 10, it's destructive because I only know destructive. I've only observed destructive. So when you don't align with the person that's in my head of who you're supposed to be, like you were saying earlier, you'll bring that person down. No, if that person is so much light, you can't bring them down. But what I can do is I can go find somebody that will allow me to stay in my observation and my actions of being destructive.
Very fair.
Until you learn differently. Like I'm learning differently now. But you won't know until you come across that person who is not observing and participating in destructive behavior, because now you have an example. But until you get that example, you think you live in the perfect life. And everything is happening to you and not for you. And everything is perfect because it's the destruction that you can handle.
Okay, so you got a couple things. Let me jump over here real quick. I like that last thing, the destruction you can handle. You can replace that with the anything you can handle. There's the love you can handle, like whatever it is. But the blank you can handle, the you can handle is the part right there that really makes sense, because that's what we do and that's how we live our lives. But you said something. I'm gonna put my worldview back out there real quick because I want to juxtapose, set side by side my worldview, your worldview. So I'm intentionally trying to create a clash. I'm gonna do this to just about everybody. I am not saying I'm right. This is very important because there is no right, and I mean that. What I'm trying to do is, this is my slick way of going, okay, so what about this thought? That's my slick way of doing this. Okay, my slick way. My worldview, your worldview. You said until you get to me, Phil, and Susan. And I say, what are you? I expect you to say yes. You said, no, you're fine. But because my worldview says, well, if you know us and if you with me, then yeah, you are. Because nobody's smarter than anybody. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like this is strong. This is very strong in me. There since if there's only one of us in the room, the same awareness you got, I got both ways. I meant that both ways. The same awareness of here you got, I got, and that same dumb stuff you just did, if I observed it, I got it in me. I could never see something that's not in me. You're right. That is scientifically impossible. If you did it, it's in me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you did it, it is in me. I can never see something that ain't me. Go ahead, Phil.
That's another one of those questions I get pushed back on. When I say you see in others what you are yourself.
See, they don't like that. They'll just give pushback. He keeps saying enough, and they'll try to push him off a cliff.
Now I got a question. I like that.
Yeah, come on.
That's great. Now I have a question, because if I was to answer the question, I can say that I do that for me and my self-destruction. But if I see someone else in that destruction, I do speak on it. What does that mean?
I believe that now. Well, I don't want to tell you what it means, but I know that to be you. I know that to be you. Adrian, so there's a few people that have created the ATS culture is so awesome because it's been created by, I give everybody a voice. And some people are so powerful, your culture is still here. Phil and Susan have obviously created a culture of love. You know, love you more, but that's not just at the end. It's in each call. It's like we're in an 80s sitcom. You know, every episode ends on a high note of love, right? It's an ATS call. Adrian was the first non-staff person that would just pay attention to everybody. Real talk. It'd be like, oh, your birthday, this here. Oh, you said this. Like, damn, Adrian, I didn't remember they said it was 16 weeks ago when they said this, right? And so I completely believe that Adrian be destructive to herself, but then lift you up. I completely believe that. That sounds like you for sure.
Well, fix that, guys, because that's a mess. That's a damn mess. But it is. And I be like, Lord, shut up. But I can't. And they be on it. And I think, well, what am I doing? Like, I just be falling short. So it's like Deanna said the other day, like, I embrace even my destruction because that is a part of, I guess, who I am. That is a part of why I can say what I can say, because you in your destruction. And I'm out here talking to you, but I do know that there's another way to go. You know what I mean? Like I was, I guess, blessed to see I was one of them kids that was lied to, you know? So because I saw the lie, I see how we're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I learned the shucking and jiving, but how do you I want to be whole. I want to be whole.
Instead of just making other people whole, huh?
Yeah, I want to be whole. I'm serious. I have met like kids on the street tell me that I got their parents back together, all types of stuff, and being a social worker, all types of stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, damn, you got a house out of that deal? I know, and I still don't have a house. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Jesus.
I bet you are responsible for 3 lifetimes worth of good things to other people in this lifetime. I can imagine. I believe it. I believe it for sure. I know it is. I'm nervous. It makes me nervous to tell you what it means because I'm not your compass. That's why I have a strong hesitation there. I don't, and also, I know this for sure. What all of us do. There's a book about this called Code of Extraordinary Mind, Chapter 2. He talks, or chapter 3, talk about the mean making machine. Somebody says something to us, then we make a meaning out of it. And then, yeah. And then 8 years later, Susan, it ain't even what you said no more. We say, Susan once said this, and we done made a whole theology out of it. Like it's a whole different thing than what you were trying to do. So I have your answer, Adrian, but I don't want to tell you, I will directly, but I am very cautious to tell people what things mean. What does it mean? Adrian had to find on her own, because my worldview doesn't think. The novice is going to say, well, Adrian, it means you love people more than you love yourself. I don't believe that. That's not what I believe. I can't believe that. It's if it's one of us in the room, I can't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe that. I can only believe she got distortions on top of her she needs to break through. But here's what I'll tell you for sure. And here is my direct answer to you that I believe will free you from this. You've turned the creative life force of this planet against you. And you've been dead for decades. See, you got to remember, in fact, I just did a video about this. Anyway, you got this, here's floss. I asked Grace will give me some floss. This is the old school floss, Susan, the little string and the, you know what I'm saying? This is, you got to do this. You got to tilt your head that way. That floss right there. If I rip the top off this box, and then put it back, glue it, disassemble this box will come back to life. If I go to your car and take all the 3,000 parts, or it's probably more than that, I can't stand this floss either. Okay, that's why it's here, because she bought the wrong one. I could disassemble the car, put it back together, life comes back, but I can't disassemble Adrian. There is something so unique about her, and I'm not talking about just being a unique individual. I'm not even talking about just her soul. I'm saying life can't be replaced. If Phil tell you, it's more souls than bodies. Like, so we can't even keep up with the souls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot stress enough to you, Adrian, how there's something so fundamental about your life force that it is creative, and it created you, and it created magnitude of things for everybody else, and you just turned it against you. If you turn your Sadhguru says this, if you turn the life creative force of this universe against yourself, you don't need another enemy. In fact, I think I got that video. You don't need, this is what he says, Law. You don't need an outside enemy. You're through. You are through. And that's all that's all you've done. Now, what does that mean? Why you did it? See, this is me again. I don't care about why. Not in my own life. I don't like therapy. I like coaching. I don't want, like, does it matter why? Let me tell you why it doesn't. This is okay. I know Age is listening. I'm getting chills thinking about it. The reason why I don't want to tell her what it means, because it don't feel good to her. Right. Like, whatever the answer is, don't feel good. Yeah. And we all know, don't do that. You're never going to fix your life attaching yourself to a thought that doesn't feel good. So I don't want to answer. Yeah, you're never going to fix your life attaching yourself to a thought that doesn't feel good. So I don't want to answer. I don't want to make you understand why you don't feel good. Just pick something that feels good and do that. Remember, you are creators. That's what gives you this God power, this made in God's image. God can take this paper. This is Grace, best sales certification programs. This paper was nothing. And then she put ink on it and created something out of nothing. Goldfish can't do this. just can't do that. There's something so creative about you, Adrian, and anybody else listening, that when you turn it against yourself, you're no longer creating. You're back in Phil's question. You are observing self-destruction or participating in self-destruction. You understand what I'm saying? And one of the worst places, well, I didn't put myself out there now. One of the places this happens the most at is schools of religion. Doesn't matter what religion. Schools of religion teach you you're bad and you need to get better. But you were born the perfect gift that you are. When Sugar was born dead, I don't even know how you pull it off, but she pulled it off. She pulled it off, right? You know what I'm saying? She did. When Phil was born, stupid baby. No, you were great. Even if I tried to make Phil stupid baby, that wasn't his worth. Was that story in the Bible? A lady tore up the whole house looking for that one mite. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter how dirty it was. Right. Once she found it, it still had its value. Still had its value. These questions are fantastic. And I thank y'all for your transparency. And this came out the one thing that was there. Jesus let these folk set up the Passover without trying to manipulate anything. That's it. The one time Jesus tried to manipulate this situation comes later in the garden to himself. Like, think about this. When Jesus said, "All right, God dog it, I'm not going quietly." Okay. It was to himself, with himself. Yep. Didn't take nobody with him. But we sure don't act like that. We don't act like that at all. Jesus didn't try to manipulate the situation, no bit. No bit. And I just can't, like right now, in all my ascension. Because you got to remember, this was like the reason that this stuck out to me when I was thinking about it, because it was Peter and John. If you understand this, Peter, James, and John was the inner three. It wasn't Corey and Ralph and Travis, and you know what I'm saying. This was Peter, James, and John. This is the three. Like, you know, this was the three. This is Tempest, Deanna, Grace. You know what I'm saying? Like this is Phil, Susan, Tempest. These are these people. I can't be quiet. Like I need you to get this. I need you to get that at my level of ascension right now. I would have a hard time knowing this is my last conversation. And I wouldn't try to say, hey, let's just stop real quick and let's just. That's hard. Yeah. That is hard because there's nothing more than I would want to do in that moment than to remember you when I pass. You know what I'm saying? And I would want that so much for myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about you remembering me, because the reason I ain't worried about that, Susan, because I already did everything. I gave you everything. I gave you everything I got. So I ain't got no guilty conscience. But like Adrian, I don't often give myself everything I have. I got a guilty conscience there, don't I? So if I know I'm getting ready to pass, then I want to say, well, wait a minute, I need something for me now. And God delivered me from the mindset I start serving me right before I die. Deliver me from this mindset. It is not helping me. It's not helping me at all. Grace, something you want to say on this? This was tough. You blame Phil. It's his fault.
Very, very tough. I'm gonna put the question back in the chat, just so everybody can see it when I can find it. There we go. How much self-destructive behavior do we observe and or participate in? Me, Grace, 100%. 100%. That's it. Okay. So, I mean, self-destructive behavior, it was Sugar that said she was self-destructive behavior for 31 years. Try. What's it? We'll get 5. Yeah, I'm right there. Yeah. Me and Sugar got the same amount of years, and I'm 41.
You know what? Let me tell you why I laugh at that. Let me meet you back real quick. Instantly, this is my worldview again. Instantly, my brain went, well, yeah, Sugar was 41 too with 31 years. Like I was thinking in my head how Grace is like, look how much worse I am. But the truth is, she's looking at Sugar on the other end of these, Me Too. When Joel Osteen taught me this here, and I never forget it. He said the most powerful sermon in the world is Me Too. Yeah, well, I taught you that because Joel taught me that. The most powerful sermon in the world is Me Too. And he tries to preach with a Me Too frequency. When you listen, Joe, it's never like you super losers or, y'all help me, give me $1 for the helicopter blade or whatever. It's never this or that, right? It's always just, it's always the evenness. And then he wrapped it up and he said this here. Sometimes when people are going through something, best thing you can ever possibly say is Me Too. That ain't worth everybody, but 2 or 3 of y'all, you in the Me Too situation right now and ain't got nobody. This is why I like to bring up the devil the way Denzel do. This is what the devil do. When Sugar going through something, the devil gonna isolate you, Sugar, and make you think you the only one going through. The only one going through, the only one not being heard. And nobody understands what you're going through. That is what a great war tactic that is. But that's just not true. And sometimes, and which goes back to Phil's first question, if everybody was serving their own best interest, it's in both of y'all best interest to say, me too, and have a dialogue about what's crushing y'all. But anyway, don't mind me. We skipped
until I became transparent.
That's right.
In a lot of areas of my life, that was very true because I allowed that to be. But when things started turning around and people started sharing what's going on in their lives, then I could honestly say, me too. But up until that point, I didn't have anybody to say anything to because I wasn't transparent about what was going on. But today, it's a new day.
And watch yourself now.
And I'm glad again. And I'm glad.
Watch it.
This class gonna help somebody. I know that's right. This class gonna help somebody. Somebody gonna watch this on YouTube.
It does make it so much easier when we get out of that self-pity, when we get out of no one will understand, when we get out of that and share it, it makes it so much easier to help that next person and to let that devil be the liar that he is.
That's right.
Because that's where we're at right now. We got to get it off of our backs, whatever it is. We got to get it out of our systems, whatever it is, so we can continue to live that good life, that happy life, that joyous life, the life we're supposed to be living. Amen.
Amen. No, yeah. Definitely. There's power in transparency. You be surprised all that stuff we holding on to. God's gonna use it one way or the other. So anything you trying to hide is gonna be used. That's up to you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna die with it. Get a sweet, me and Phil understand it. It's a good counseling, and have a good time and start all over, reboot the system and forget all again. It's going to be used in and then karma later, or it's going to be what should have just said something that gets revealed and help others. But one way or the other, anything you're trying to hide will be used. Just is what it is. One way or the other. It's going to be used to help you with sin, or it's going to be used to help others with sin. But one way or the other, if you going through it, if you went through it, it will be used. Or stop believing in God.
Amen. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
For real. It's going to be used one way or the other for your karma or for somebody else's, but it will be used. There's no doubt about it. Now, we skipped 2 and 3. Like I laid it out for you because we already did it. We talked about it with Phil's questions. After the sun set, they ate, and then the Lord instituted the supper. Now we got to talk about this garden. Yes. Jesus goes to the garden. This is the day. This is the day. Here's what stands out to me, Law. I need you to get or share all 6 of these movements. In my head, I failed all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, I told you I put myself in stories, and I'm always looking at the character of people. Yeah, because I've seen the evilness of men more than most people. It just depends on how you want to look at that. The war when I was homeless or the war at war. Just pick one of these wars. I've seen the evilness of men. Let me just tell you, I've seen it. I've seen it. So I'm always looking at character, and I'm always putting myself in a situation. I'm always putting when I read something, I go, I wonder if I would have did that. Yep, I'd have stabbed him too, right? You're right. Always something stupid that I would do. I always say that. But the idea of leaving Tempest, Deanna, Phil, and Susan, and not saying nothing, and then going to the garden and not saying nothing. And then finally saying, come on, this is me. Do I really got to do it this way? Because this is me. I mean, this is me. Yeah, I'm your son. Yeah, this is me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do me like that. Yeah. You know. And then I would have did, Phil, check. I'd have did all of it. Until this one part. Nevertheless, not my will, but I would have did that part. Yeah. Let me take. This is mine would have looked more like Phil play that he just did. Well, you said, yes. Let me go. The story is still be me trying to get around. Well, let me ask you this 1,000,000th question real quick, because I have a problem, and this is a human problem here. I don't have a problem accepting no. I don't have a problem accepting yes. I no longer have a problem with being quiet. I have a problem with knowing you want me to do this and they not gonna appreciate me. Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. My name is Lord Low. Hold, I've been trying to be rich and famous since I was 2. You mean no admiration? Hey, nobody go clap. You mean this is for nothing? No. It feels God. No, Antonio. No. Listen. Everybody's gonna talk about you forget 2,000 years from now. I want I want to see it in my lifetime. You tell me. I don't want the humble way. You know, I want it out. Yeah, I ain't trying for that. And that's tough. It's tough. It's a thing in me that I'm sure I've carried over every lifetime. You know what I'm saying? This okay, I'm starting over, but hold on. Let me pull that one with me. You know what I'm saying? That idea of abandonment issues, underappreciation. I know I'm in some of y'all driveway now. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to leave me like everybody else.
I'm over here. I'm here. You're talking. You're speaking. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying not to do it. But you're really talking to me because see, I grew up like that.
Come on.
I was always the star. I was the star that didn't want to be the star.
Yep.
You know, I sang the solo, but that was after we had tryouts and everybody tried to sing the solo. I was the one that had to sing. You know what I mean?
You went up there.
Everybody tried.
Yeah.
And I used to get in trouble for volunteering. My mom, don't you volunteer? They think you do it all the time. So I was born this way, and I know now that it was a curse. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But is that why? Is that why I live this life?
Yeah, sure it is. And what I had to do to get past this was I had to let go of my abandonment issues. Mm-hmm. That may have been the toughest.
But if you keep being abandoned, though, damn. It keeps coming back. What do you mean? I want to get over it, but
what a
stop
great
leaving.
Response. What a great response. That's exactly the response of somebody with abandonment issues. No, it was the toughest battle I've ever had to face, genuinely. Because I don't know. I don't even know why it was so tough. Maybe Phil can answer. I have no idea why it was so tough, but it was tough. It was tough to get past it. Man. Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, it's something that you can track back to your youth. Yeah. You have like markers or imprints that happen to you. And if you have that imprint of insecurity or abandonment, that's what you assume is love. So therefore you attract people that will abandon you because in your definition, they're loving you because you've got that false pretense of what love's all about.
Yeah.
I'm working right now and studying a guy right now, and we may be doing some stuff together that he's a naturopath. And when I told him my childhood. He said, well, no wonder you got all these problems. We can fix that, no problem. Now mine is, because my story, I got hit. By the time I was 7, I was hit maybe 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And so it's part of it. They talk about when that happens to you, it affects your thyroid, which is
imprinted on your DNA, how you behave.
You're right.
Yeah.
So it becomes your programming, your software. So you either have to accept the software and continue to go down that path, or choose to reprogram it by reading books, listening to saves, being around positive people, having your antennas up when you start getting close to that point where, wait a minute, I've been down this road before.
Yep.
I better make a decision right now whether I'm going to continue to go down or take another path.
Fair enough.
So, by the way, Antonio, I think our next Let's Study a Book, we got 3 more lessons in the power of your subconscious mind. I'm thinking of the 48 laws of power.
Okay, that'd be so awesome. Yeah, that would be so. They got excited. That would be so. I ain't never missing one of those. I would have hit.
Well, you did such a good job that I don't even think I need to get the book. I'll use your notes. And that's what we can let the people get if they want to. Sure, they can have Grace can just you've got 60 some pages of notes. You've got at the end, you even summarize your notes from the previous.
Yeah.
So I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I just, the more I read that, and there's some stuff in there that I'm going, what? Like I don't agree with. Well, it's going to be fun to deal with that.
I know, right? So, that's always the fun part.
So unless somebody's got another idea, I think that 40 Laws of Power, and then contact Grace or ask Grace to have her email you that packet. It ends up being 67 pages. I think. Here, let me look real quick. 70 pages.
It's worth it.
But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a neat discussion. I'm really looking forward to it. So I think that's what we're going to do for the next Let's Study a Book.
Sweet. Yeah. Please, yeah. That's. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. I love it. I read it every 3 months, just to remind myself there are ascension laws, but we still eat from this planet. And you still need to understand how the valley works. That's for me and my incarnational, right? I need to understand how this valley works. This valley has rules, and people are following these rules. Let me say something that will give Prophet Jerry real quick. The Jesus in the garden. I'm sorry, no, I want to say 2 things for quick. Gianna is going to get her naturopath. Yes. That's something that's why she almost cried when you mentioned it. She's applying for school at this moment. She wants to be a naturopath doctor. She's going to always get a PhD. Yes. Yeah. Come on. Y'all clap for that. Yes. Get some certifications on the way, but she's been on phone with schools. And so from a GED to a PhD. Sound like it's a book in there somewhere. Yeah, that's pretty cool. She's gonna be in school for a long time, that's for sure. The idea here, this garden, it's not the acceptance, it's not non-acceptance law. It's just that, but where's the praise? It's that wait a minute now. I don't want that idea of, but I don't want to do it for nothing. And the truth is, we never do anything for nothing. That statement, that phrase should never exist. It should never exist. Because, and we know that all things, right? So it should never exist, period, point blank. Go ahead, Prophet Jerry.
It's to the point that you're talking about abandonment. It's to the point that, my former wife did it. My mama did it, and I'm so afraid.
There you go. Come on, I like this transparency. Come on.
I'm so I'm so afraid she's gonna leave me.
You probably pushing her away.
And sometimes I feel like I'm pushing her away, and she's like, "Look, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not like Louise, and I'm not like your mother. I'm not like them others that left you. And so
you got an amen from Deanna over here. She act like you.
So it's so amazing that it's still there. You don't want it to be there, but it's still there because of your past. And I'm thinking about doing a topic of Let It Go on Assemblies of Wonders. I was sitting yesterday.
That sounds like a series, brother. That sounds like a series.
Yesterday in the car, and Renee was in the medicine shop, and it just came to me, let it go.
Let it go.
And I was like, wow. I didn't do it yesterday because I took some medicine. I was all druggy. I was all out of the place yesterday. But and I'm feeling it now. But yeah, the abandonment issues is a powerful thing that you really have
they
to.
are. No, they are, man. They are. I feel that Gianna addressed this too. I have sympathy for all of you in this, empathy too, because I've been there. I get it. If you ask me, it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. The idea of not being abandoned, right? Hold on. You. I know, but I want them tears. Yes, no. You bring them. Cut your camera on, Rich. She finna go clap. No. They need to hear this pain. They need to hear this pain for sure. These abandonment issues are seriously. Phil said something. It's in your thyroid. It's as part of this paper as these letters are. It's as part of your behavior. Is that trauma, that bond, because it was bonded through. It's called a trauma bond. And I do want to say this to all of you. This is why places like the Bible are very good for saying, don't get weary in well-doing. Because if you keep going and do not quit, you shall get the reward. Because it's when Phil said you got to accept it and keep going or reprogram it. What we both left out is it's harder to reprogram than it is to be programmed. Because trauma bonding is almost immediate. Even if you don't realize it is immediate. That trauma bonding is immediate. It stays with you forever. And you got to read, this depends on each person, but you got to read 1,000 books just to break the bond. And then the bond law, we would love for the bond to be broken immediately. No. Anything living is fighting to live. It ain't dying without a fight. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't dying without a fight. So once it starts softening up, this is how your neural network works. Once it starts softening up and it gets weaker, that's when you start putting in the new habit. But here's the problem with your new habit, the reprogramming. Now you gotta make that new habit as strong as the trauma bond that's breaking down. But it ain't strong. So you gotta keep doing it, you gotta keep doing it. And then you gotta keep doing it more until it's thick and fast enough until it becomes your natural behavior. Aristotle talks about this in the virtues, way old stuff, but he says there's three virtues. And one of them is when you practice something so much, it becomes your natural behavior. And what I'm trying to tell you, what Phil was saying, that don't just come by reading a few books. Reprogramming don't come because you decide. It is because you decide, but it's a journey. And you're going to have to keep reprogramming. But please hear two things from the Bible. Do not become weary in your well-doing, and blessed are those who have seen. Blessed are those who believe and have not seen, because your reprogramming is going to be effective. It's going to be there, but you ain't going to be able to see it. It's going to have somebody going to have to come to you and say, you know what, Antonio, I've noticed a difference in you. Until that happens, You know what I'm saying? You don't get to see it because you're like Les Brown
I receive all of it. And
There
that's gonna be horrible. But because you just said all that you said, that makes, and I received that.
There you go. There you go. I'm so glad Phil brought it up. Yes. Yes. And I wanted to stress that because it's work. And it's harder work to reprocess. So I told my boys, don't you get 40 and start losing weight. You keep that off right now. You let puberty take care of that for you. If puberty give you that 6-pack, you understand what I'm saying? Just don't you wait. It's too hard to take this stuff back off. Always harder to reprogram yourself. That I'm not attempting to speak limits over you. That's not my intent here. I'm just telling you, trauma bonding is so near instantaneous. And then we start making the meaning out of that trauma. And as Phil said, we start our reward system. We start chasing these rewards from this trauma. Go ahead, Phil, and then Deanna.
Yeah, because it's our defense mechanism. You have a trauma, so you build up a reaction to the trauma so that it protects you as you mature, as you get older. It's the flight or flight response.
Very good point. Very good point. And so Prophet Jerry pushing away Renee because it's easier for him to make her leave because he know how to handle that than for her to put him back through the trauma of trusting and she leave. See that, law gets it. That second one is painful when you got abandonment issues, because if he trusts and she act like that, he gonna die. Ain't gonna be again.
Hey, Antonio.
Yes, sir.
I need to talk to Renee and Prophet Jerry real quick. I called a friend of mine who's been in a wheelchair for 30 years. She's a professional speaker, and I asked her about you, and she started laying all this stuff on me. I said, time out. You've overstepped my ability to have the knowledge. I said, would you mind if we get a call and get on a 3-way call with you? She says, oh no, I'd love to help. So contact me and in the next, either today or tomorrow, whatever, and let's pick some times together so we can get on a 3-way call with her, because I think she's got some information for you that will be very valuable.
Amen. Now let's clap for that.
All right.
Now Renee, I'm gonna charge you.
Okay.
I ain't even talking to your husband. You hear me? He eavesdropping. He already admitted he's a self-sabotager. You hear me? And he's admitted he got abandonment issues, right? So what you gonna have to do is you gonna have to make that call, because he gonna find these smart Antonio reasons for not making the call. Oh, babe, I'm gonna do it right after I cook. Oh, you cooking all of a sudden, right?
I will. I definitely will.
Always know yourself. I know exactly. If I ain't got nothing else, yes, sir.
You dipping.
Oh, shush. He needed the dip.
Yeah. Look, my self-sabotager is just as equally as intelligent as me. You hear me? So, all right. Go ahead.
You know what, Antonio?
Yes, ma'am.
He mentioned that he had abandonment issues. I kind of came in a little bit because I had a meeting for a second, but I had abandonment issues as well because my mom was in my life, but then my mom passed away, so that was a different abandonment. But my father leaving altogether is abandonment. Period.
That'll make you hate God.
I mean, I was almost there when my mother passed. I was like, shoot, man. I was like, you could have took away my pops first. That's just how it was. But but those issues I still had. And then he was like, yeah, I have abandonment issues. I was like, well, yeah, I did too. But I can't be like other people and say I'm a person to where I'm like, you know what, if things ain't going well and I'm already having ideas where I want to leave, that I'm just gonna have to go ahead and have them ugly talks where I'm like, this ain't you're killing me, and I gotta dip. But I had those issues too, but I had to make a choice that if he starts pushing, I'm like, I got to stay with it, because now we got vows. So I can't just leave and say, well, he ain't making me feel pretty today, so I got to dip. That's not what it's about. And when I made those commitments, I had made them knowing that could possibly happen, but I needed to be like, all right, I'm in here. You gave me your last name. We doing this until death. So that's pretty much it. I mean, ain't no other way. So
until you
if
die,
you push, then
I'm
I'm being strong, and I'm like, yo, I'm in here. So I mean, my issues, I had been issues too, but I still had to make a choice.
No, I get you. She said, listen, we married until you die or I kill you. You hear me?
Hey, and I ain't killed them, so orange is not the new black for me.
One of these is going to happen. No, I completely understand. Let me set up Deanna real quick. Let me give you these other points rapidly. Jesus was betrayed by Judas, right? Who wants to be betrayed, especially publicly, lied on, and then right, he goes and have a whole setup, setup jury. What you call it? A fake trial. It ain't even a trial. I don't. There's a street name for it, but it's all that stuff like that. So those are points we only need to talk about them because as Prophet Jerry was talking, Deanna was crying about the same abandonment issue. So I want to let you. Give you the time to end it on that. So to forget the structure. Let's use this Holy Spirit over here real quick, please. The abandonment issue, whatever you want to say, that doesn't matter.
I wanted to say me too, Prophet Jerry. Mine is so bad to where I imploded because my fear of trusting on that level drove me to push so hard to a point where I actually went into battle within myself. Because Antonio is Renee. I'm gonna just put it to you like this. He not going nowhere. He not giving up. And I told him this morning, I said the level of patience that you have is godly. Because
I agree.
When you are so used to, and see, yours was complete abandonment. Well, they just gave you up. Mine was, I took the meaning of something and translated it to, you're abandoning me because I'm not as good as that person.
Wow.
Anything that triggers that, I fight instantly because, and this is all new stuff that I'm learning. Like, this is all new. As a kid growing up, it started with my brother. I'm not as good and as new as him. So you're abandoning me for him. And I made a meaning out of that. So anytime that is triggered, I push you away before I completely just trust myself with you. Y'all hear Antonio say all the time, I'm a big kid. Once that kid feels like you're going to abandon me, I created such a wall where I go completely destructive to push you away to protect myself. It went as far as me imploding and just having a full out, since you not gonna go, I'm gonna leave. Since you won't abandon me like I expect you to, I'm going to abandon me. I'm going to leave, because if I don't and if I stay, I'm going to trust you. If I stay, that means I'm letting every wall down. If I stay, that means I'm trusting you with the most precious part of myself, which is my soul. So if I stay, that's what I'm doing. So because I'm triggered because of this, because of that, you know what? Since you don't want to go, I'm going to leave. But it took that for me to see that there is no abandonment. I have created a story for 38 years that anybody who even remotely resembled that abandonment, I pushed away. But when you get that person that say, I don't care, I get what you're going through. Well, we ain't doing that here. I don't care how hard you push. Yeah, your pushing is breaking away at me, but I'm strong enough for both of us. That's when you start viewing things differently. I told Antonio today, I have to learn how to have a husband because I was taught be strong by myself. Because I was taught by somebody who was abandoned to be strong by yourself. So I have to now learn how to be strong in a partnership. My words to you, Prophet Jerry, I'm not a man. I'm not a provider, but I have been abandoned. Excuse my language, and that shit hurts. And it leaves something in you that you don't even realize it until somebody like Renee comes along and they're like, I've been abandoned too, but we're going to stay together because I know how it feels. You know how it feels. So how about we just make sure that together we don't abandon each other so neither one of us ever feel that again. When you get somebody like that, they show you. And if they have the patience to stay and help you break down the wall, Antonio says all the time, what is alive will fight to stay alive. I have learned. I spent 38 years being in an upset state. I don't remember a moment of happiness in 38 years because I lived in, I don't want to be abandoned. I lived in that. I'm learning how to live in, I'm never going to be abandoned again. And when I started living in that, I stopped pushing away. So I'm here to tell you, me too, but it does get better. I'm here to tell you, me too. Again, I'm not a husband. I'm not a provider. I'm not a protector. But I was once broken. I was once abandoned. And it does get better. It does hurt, but it's okay to let go. It's okay to release that. Because I hear Renee isn't a provider. Renee isn't a husband. Renee isn't a protector. But when it comes to you two, I hear Antonio and her. All I hear is we stuck. We in this. I don't know what you're doing, but I ain't going nowhere. And that's a pace, that's an undescribable love.
Bring me some macaroni and cheese.
And he said, bring us some macaroni and cheese, he'll be all right. But that's, but that's all, because as you were talking, I was hurting with you. And that's where all the tears came from, because it's like, man, because I've been there. Like I can't begin to express to you the destructiveness that I have pushed out on people, the destructiveness that I have done to myself, all because of that one fear. All because of how that structured my DNA. And it's no telling. It's no telling the people I've destroyed along the way. At the end of the day, God was like, look, you asked in here, but you got a journey ahead of you because you put so much on top of it. It's like, I love Miss Adrian. I love Miss Adrian so much because I'm not gonna lie. Part of where I am today is because of her, because she's so damn transparent with herself.
Yeah, you be helping a whole lot of people that they don't even be knowing it.
Like Miss Adrian.
I.e., again, back to what I'm saying. You understand? Like, come on, God. Damn. Like, but I get it. And I have resonated in the point where if that is all that I have,
right.
What they say, if that is all that you ever give me, I say thank you, God, for that. But ain't you supposed to, want to get it right? I don't know.
No,
That's why I said there's an existence in that though. So I love that because I don't want nobody to see what I saw. I'm 44.
Yeah.
But y'all got to remember, I found out in the pandemic that Jesus wasn't real. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, since they stopped church. This is all new to me about the world and how the Matrix is really what we were in. Like, oh shit, we really are in the Matrix. Like, I need to watch all these. I need to go back and watch all these movies again with their mind because I missed it. Like, I literally missed it. Like, damn. But I thank God for all of y'all. So at the same token, but I'm glad to know at least people are taking heed to it. And then, you know what I mean? Y'all sit at the top. Cause like Antonio said, when the ship go up, when the water go up, when the tide rise, my boat is still in the water. I'm coming up.
I know that's
I'm coming up.
No, that's fine. Well, I can tell you for sure, Adrian, I've never seen anybody who believed in God not get what they deserve. I just never seen it. I've never seen it. And to make that even more accurate, you are owed a return on your energy. Nothing is void. Nothing comes back empty. Nothing.
I received that. You got me here cussing. Yes, God. I received that. Jesus.
Yeah, you've done too much for too many people not to get that back. So if you just hold on to that fact, that energy, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. You'll go through, but you'll be just fine. I'm going to say two things to Deanna, and we get out of here in about 90 seconds. And then, what's the name?
Your day will come, and you'll have everything.
There it is. That's for you, Adrian. Your day will come, and you will have everything. 100%. Two things, Deanna, when you were talking. These are blessings. All that abandonment issues she's talking about is what led her to this natural path thing. You do not have to kill Moses for Joshua to live. You know what I'm saying? That led you there. It led you there. Trying to figure out how to get better. All right. Well, that's why you have a passion on teaching people how to get better because you try to figure it out for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And she also, I forget how you said it about abandonment. Anyway, when you start saying, you'll get there faster. I forget how you said it, but you'll get there faster when you say, I'm grateful for my aloneness. I am so happy that I can be alone without a problem. Not the other way. You did it in a way of, in a way of negative. Be grateful that being alone doesn't hurt, doesn't sting. Right? Be grateful that in your aloneness, you still are in a relationship with yourself and others. Go ahead, Phil.
Antonio, how do we put that into words, or how do we explain to somebody based on this call what they would get out of joining with us? How do you put that into words to explain what happened here today and what that meant? I think to everybody on the call, and let's face it, who we have on the call are all of our A players. I mean, look at it, we do.
Yeah,
I mean, all our A players are on the call.
You're absolutely right.
It's them B players we should be getting, but they didn't make it. But how would you explain to somebody what this call is all about and what it's meant to us and why they should be part of our group?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. I tell you, I will think about that all day until I have an answer. It may be come for y'all, but I have no idea, because this was therapeutic in the best kind of way. This was Easter. This was church, all of it. So I end you all with this. I just, hopefully, as you go through Passion Week, as a believer and non-believer, it doesn't matter. You still got to go through the week. And you can't.
Hey, Antonio.
You can't, yes, sir.
This may be a little self-serving, but one idea is go see Selling in the Garden.
It was really good. I put those links out there too. I put that one in the video that came right after. It's right here, Grace. If you want to, it's right there. If you want to put them in Discord, you see them in chat. Put them in Discord. My goal today was to have you. My goal was, yes, ma'am.
Before you move on the Selling in the Garden, I did put it on Humor Consultants and ran an ad, but I knew I was doing wrong by not taking it from YouTube and taking it from I should have taken it from YouTube.
Oh, so we can get the views and stuff. I get you.
Yeah, but I took it from our collection of videos.
Right.
But so it's on.
We'll just have to run them views up ourselves then by watching it. That's what we do. We'll chip in and watch it and run them views up ourselves. For sure. No, that's my goal is for all of you to see this time and just look at your character and get into some good trouble the same way Jesus did. You know, because we got things that were, you know, for some of us, the story will write out a little bit differently. Yeah, it'd be, you know, Shia went to the garden and was like, F this, right? You know what I'm saying? You know. No, you know, you empaths, or especially like, you know, Shia, you guys do what is right all the time. And that's kind of why you turn against yourselves, because you're tired of getting stepped on, because you always do right all the time. You know, you always do right all the time. See yourself in the character, and just know that you're freaking awesome. Yeah, go ahead. You're awesome. This week, ride that energy, and hopefully you can be somewhere to where the next time we write a story and it becomes sacred text, it's all about your life. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can plant better. You can dominate. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day off, and we'll see you tomorrow. We will have a meeting in the morning, and that's it. That's it for your Good Friday. Love you, everybody.
Love you more.
Love you more.
Have a great day.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one. If we don't.